KindaSound Radio, the station for a global community.
Welcome to the KindaSound Astrology Update with me, Stella Grace, for the week ahead, the 12th today to the 18th of January. And if you are listening back later, how the Astrology Show works is we're live every Friday at 10. If you miss out, don't worry, because we replay the following day on the Saturday at 10. And also, each show will be made available as a podcast from the following Tuesday on Apple, Spotify, Audible, and of course the KindaSound website, kindasound.org/podcast. So we have, I'm coming to you broadcasting from a chilly spot this morning, cold in Devon, but hopefully we have some interesting astrology that will warm us up today. We're going to cover the update, and we're also going to look at our topic Mars. So I'm excited to look at that in a little more depth shortly. But we're still in a really nice manifestation portal. And what we have is the significant kind of portal energy, the residue energy from the new moon yesterday. Now, I spoke a lot about the new moon last week, but if you missed that, or if you still want to jump on with an opportunity to really kind of utilize some of this manifestation, opportunity that's available to you, the general residue of a new moon is 2 days either side. And I actually resonate that the 2 days following the new moon is the stronger energy to work with. We've kind of peaked already, and now we're in that real new moon space of being able to access this great time for intention setting. So if you've not already done so, you have an invitation to really look at although the moon's no longer in Capricorn, where it was yesterday when it was exactly new, we still have really big Capricorn energy at play at the moment. And so you still have an opportunity to utilize some of the new moon themes that were in Capricorn yesterday, and with other planets in Capricorn as well, still at the moment, which I'll come on to in a moment. So really, we've got a great time that is quite significant, because being the first new moon of the calendar year of 2024, we can really look at not just the intention setting for, the next 2 weeks until we hit the full moon phase, but also the whole month ahead and the whole then year ahead. And actually, with Capricorn energy, it's very much about the long-term gain and the long-term plans. So we really also have an opportunity, especially with the other Capricorn planets that are active at the moment in the cosmos, to really think about even the decades ahead. It's really about legacy. It's about commitment. It's about looking at how our responsibilities now can inform our future successes. It's also preparation. It's goals, how we want to achieve, and the action steps that we put in now to achieve those future successes later. So it's actually a really lovely time, and I think it gives us a nice focus for, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, where we're quite chilly, and some of us, maybe feeling the January blues. I think although it can be quite a tricky spot to be in right now in terms of the energy, and the Capricorn energy can be quite serious, and it can feel a bit restrictive, but it also has these beautiful opportunities to really look at where we're going and what we want to achieve and where we're moving and how we're going to do that. So I'd still invite you to jump in on that new moon energy, still active and available to you for at least another day. Really think about what you'd like to manifest in with your grounded action steps, of course, because we can use all of these beautiful energies and these moon phases and all of the astrological aspects to our advantage by utilizing the energy. But of course, we can also do that on any given day and any given moment with our free will, with our choice. Astrology just gives us another opportunity really to co-create with the universe in that way. So that's about the new moon energy. We're also coming into a lot of other Capricorn energy. As I mentioned, it's still very active Capricorn energy in the sky at the moment. So we have today the Capricorn sun is trining Uranus in Taurus. So we've got this lovely Earth trine today, and the trine, as I've mentioned before, is a favourable aspect in astrology. It's around its positivity, its ease, and its flow. So it gives us kind of a soft and easygoing relationship between those two planets. And with the Capricorn sun, we have a light shining on Uranus, really, because it's the sun. We have a light shining on that Uranus in Taurus. And that's a lovely opportunity to give us the invitation for a healthy relationship with change. So Uranus is all about change, and the Capricorn sun is about, solidity and structure. So bringing those two aspects together, we have an opportunity to have a look at how we're embracing change, how things around us might be changing, because it's Uranus in Taurus, which again is about external structures and the earth plane. We've got an interesting look on, things around us that might be changing on maybe a more bigger external scale. But because it's a trine, it does really bring us a flavour of it being more in ease and more in flow, which is quite a lovely energy for today. Also, Uranus is about revolutionising and being revolutionary in that change. So, it really invites us to be shining in our unique and individual light. So where we, might ordinarily want to, fit in or just go along, Uranus energy really invites us to be individual and to, perhaps come out with ideas or actions that aren't the same as everything that's going on around us. And Uranus is really great for that, really great for getting things going. And often in hindsight with Uranus energy, things can come out of the blue, but when you look down the line, you realize that they were, really positive for creating change. So I'd really tap into that if that resonates. There's also, with the Capricorn sun, there's also a square aspect to the nodes of fate, or the nodes of the moon, however you would label it. But why I use the nodes of fate is because it's a very destined alignment. The nodes of fate are around destiny, and we have the south node in terms of is an idea of where we've been, the kind of karmic or past life knowledge, if you like, that we're coming in with. And the north node is very much about our destiny, where we're moving to, our true north, follow our true north, that kind of theme. So with the Capricorn sun making a square aspect to those nodes today, we have potentially a challenging flavour within the mix. So the square is, as I've said before, it's not good and bad in astrology. It's just sort of a spectrum of different opportunities to utilize. So the square aspect is often about some kind of challenge requiring action. So the invitation for us to utilize that energy today is really about any kind of challenging situations or energies that come up within you or around you. You really have an opportunity to remember that anything that comes up is really part of a more destined, bigger picture when we're thinking about the nodes of fate. So it's about taking the wisdom and practical energy of all this lovely Capricorn energy and the Capricorn sun that is making this square aspect, and using it to the advantage for the longer term good, thinking about what, these things that might be coming up before our highest good. And so in that way, we're able to deal with any challenges with this practical energy and taking the wisdom from the Capricorn energy. There's lots of it to utilize at the moment. So we've got the sun, Mars, Pluto, and on the 14th, Mercury will be coming into Capricorn as well. So by the 14th, we'll have these 4 planets all in Capricorn. And so we've really got an invitation to look at the order in our lives, look at our, healthy boundaries. As I mentioned before, Capricorn energy can be quite, on that spectrum, again, on perhaps what somebody might describe as a lower aspect of Capricorn. It might be quite rigid in some senses, or very serious. But we also have that level-headedness to utilize in that arena, in that spectrum. So we've got a real opportunity actually to create order and structure in our lives. We've got an opportunity to look at the healthy boundaries, and, you know, we might be a little bit more aware of, say, our limitations and our restrictions. But again, all of those things serve us really to look at how we have more, you know, again, of a long-term either lesson to adopt or to grow, you know, to take wisdom from, to grow from. And also these things, again, any sort of groundwork that we do now in this Capricorn energy, and particularly that manifestation portal I mentioned at the beginning with the new moon energy, is this real opportunity to build groundwork and solid foundations now for the things that you want to see kind of fruition and success and abundance with later on. So it is, you know, to put it really simply, so, you know, it can feel a bit of a boring time or a boring energy, particularly with the, you know, the January blues, if you like, here in the Northern Hemisphere. But actually, everything we do now is a small step to, even a small step to, you know, the bigger picture and the fruition of our goals later on. So I'm really behind this energy at the moment. I'm really utilizing it and I'm enjoying it. With Mercury joining Capricorn on the 14th, we can see this more steadfast energy again in our thinking and our ideas and our communications, because Mercury is very much about those facets and how we, you know, communicate with others, also about sort of plans and things. And Mercury now being direct is moving forward. And so in Capricorn, we have this real practical, steadfast energy that's ambitious and moving forward. And again, as I mentioned, that level-headedness. And that's, you know, that can be quite nice and grounding for Mercury, actually, because, you know, Mercury in its kind of natural sense, in a Gemini sense that the planet is naturally ruled by, is quite scattered. So when our thinking, our Mercury becomes grounded in the earth energy of Capricorn, we have this real opportunity again to be quite level-headed, to be practical, to make really wise decisions and choices. So again, it's more of the same theme around really planning well for the future. We've got a lovely trine today. Now, our topic in a minute that we're going to cover is Mars, as I mentioned, but we've got, and Mars is active today, so we've got Mars in Capricorn as well. So again, our energy is practical and steadfast, and we've got that trining. So again, making that positive aspect, that aspect that brings us flow and ease with Jupiter in Taurus. So a nice Earth trine again for this time Mars in Capricorn with Jupiter in Taurus, and that's actually exact today. So on the 12th, that is exactly a trine aspect today. This gives us a real lift, I think, in the midst of our Capricorn planning, because we've got this real can-do attitude with Mars trining Jupiter, and it gives us a nice impetus for expanding on our passions, for expanding on our energy, which, you know, as we've mentioned this time of year in the north, it's, you know, it can be, we can feel a bit low. We're still wintering, but we've got this nice flavour today of this expanse on our energy, on our drive, because Mars is all about that, and we're gonna touch on that in more detail in a minute. But at this point, it's a nice time for our song, and We Are the Warriors by the Imagine Dragons, because we've got, to me, this real feel of motivation and determination, and I love it. So for a Friday, it really gets things moving. Thank you, Django, for playing that one for us now. KindaSound, tuning in for change. Welcome back to the Astrology Update Show on KindaSound with me, Stella Grace. We've been looking at this week ahead from the 12th to the 18th. We're also coming on to look in a moment at the topic of Mars. I'll also just mention that I have another show on KindaSound, The Gifts Within Adversity. That one runs fortnightly. So we're back next week on the 19th with my special guest, Lee Arscott then. And it's great to be here. So thanks for tuning in, station that's tuning in for change. And we're talking now about Mars. Now, each week on the Astrology Show, we cover a topic in a little bit more detail. And we touched on Venus last week. And so following on, we have a look at Mars now. Now, Mars being active in the sky today, as we had mentioned, that exact trine with Jupiter. So a real lovely dose of can-do energy amongst all of the Capricorn vibes. So we've got Mars active. Now, I often think of the planets as aspects within ourselves, because to me, the universe is a reflection of us as we are of it, and of course, part of the universe. So often I think about the planets in terms of aspects within ourselves. And then, of course, if we look at our birth charts, if we know them, we have all of our planets, in a certain place at the moment we were born that impacts on us. So I often think of, these aspects as our kind of inner personality traits, and they can reflect parts of our life and parts of our kind of essence, really. So Mars is known in astrology as the god of war. It's our inner warrior. Actually, it can be our outer warrior as well, but it's very much our drive. Mars is a masculine energy. So whereas Venus last week, we spoke about, the she of Venus and the feminine essence of her, adoring beauty, pleasure, relationships, romance and beauty. And with Mars, we have kind of what I feel like is a masculine counterpart to Venus. So he, being a masculine energy, it's the inner warrior within all of us, male or female. So these aspects we all have, whichever gender we are, we all have this Mars side and our, our feminine Venus side. So with Mars, it's often about our drive, it's our passions, it's the things that light us up, the things that give us that push to get out of bed in the morning. It's our innate energy. And how we express our energy as well. Mars is linked to our animal instincts. So it's a raw energy. It's a raw masculine energy that, it can also show us our survival instincts. When we're triggered, it can be, our reactive side rather than our diplomatic side, which Venus would more, come into play with. But Mars would be our initial reaction. It can often, if unchecked, that could be aggression, or it could be assertion. It can still be our assertive side as well. It's a dominant force. It doesn't always have to be angry, but it can represent anger as another energy within all of us. It's often about forthright action, really. That's the other, the kind of key thing with Mars. So it's also about our raw sexual energy, a desire. Again, in contrast to Venus, we spoke about it's how we, it's our receptive energy, how we, things that we find pleasurable. But with Mars, it's that innate drive, kind of raw desire. And we all need that energy, we all need that get up and go. And we all need our inner and outer warrior. So definitely, again, not a negative aspect. None of the astrological aspects or planets are, good or bad. I like to think of them all as a spectrum, as a tapestry of, our traits, our gifts, and all the parts of us that make us, complex and human, really. So, yeah, that's it enough really on Mars. And what I thought would be quite nice to finish today was, after that kind of warrior energy, after the god of war, we'd finish on something soothing. And so for nice Friday soul soothing vibes, I thought we'd finish on Ben Howard and Only Love. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Friday at 10. Much love.